Okay, so before we go to the next example, I said we can also solve this using the Cartesian form. Where is the example? Here it is. Here it is, right? So the forces are two. The force vectors are two. That's P and Q. So this is what we will do. So you say force P. Yeah, this is force Q. And align them neatly. Force P and Q. So if I am starting with P, something like that. So I am starting with P. How can you resolve P? So you have um, P can be resolved in X, can be resolved in the X and the Y. So that is, I mean, Px and Py. Q2 can be resolved. Q2 can be resolved in the X and the Y. If you is Y as you say the X side. Alright, so that's basically what it means. So now we check the directions because you know that P moving in this direction, which is the resultant. So it means that if here is Px, if here is Px, here is Py, what direction should the x component move? It should move in order to go and meet the resultant, which is P equals the 40, the entire resultant. So it should go and meet. So it means to go right. And if this is going right, Py should go up so that they can follow each other, then go and meet the resultant 40 newtons. The same thing goes with the Q. Q. Here is 60 newtons, and here are the components. So here is 90, is 90. So if you want to go and meet this resultant Q, which is 60 newtons, X, QX should go right, QY should go up, QX should go right, QY should go up. So basically that is the idea in doing that. So if we do that, it means PX is going right. And you can see from the elementary school, yes, if X is going right, it's positive. Y is going up, it's positive. X is going left, it's negative. Y is going down, it's negative. So whenever we have a fourth component going to the right, I mean the X axis going to the right, it's a positive component. For instance, in our case, PS and QX, they are moving towards the right axis, so they are all positive. So now let's do the breakdown. So P is 40. Now we know that PX will be 40 cos. What's the theta that P makes with the x axis? 20. So it will be 40 cos 20. So PX 40 cos 20 degrees. Sorry. Then we go to QX, or we can even do all the P's. So let's do all the P's. Let's go to PY. We know the y axis goes with the sine. So PY will go with 40, so that's the resultant. So 40 sine 20 degrees. So PY 40 sine 20 degrees. Then we move on to Q. Go and do the resolution today. So Q moving to the X, so QX against QY. So QX, you have the resultant of Q to be 60. You can see it there, 60. And what is the angle that Q makes the horizontal? It is 25 plus 20, which is 45. So it means the x component of Q, which is Qx, will be the Q magnitude, which is 60 cos 45 degrees. Then for the y component of Q, it will be the resultant Q, which is 60 sin 45 degrees. So these are the possible x and y component that we have. Now let's quickly do some operations here. So what does it mean? So this implies that px, if we should convert this to decimal, so 40 cos 20 is 37.5877. And Cartesian, I told you we have two methods. So yeah, it is. I use the tip tail in the first scenario. Then I'm using the Cartesian. Alright, so Cartesian, we go with the IDK. So I plus because when we were doing the schematic, Py went up, and I've told you up is positive, and PS went right. Right is positive. So all will be positive. So plus 40 sine 20. 40 sine 20. What is the answer? 18.6808. And the cardinal point or the cardinal axis is J because Y goes with J. Then let's do for the Q2. So this one is not P. This one is P. Now the first P in Cartesian form is this. Let's do for Q2. So Q, we take the x component. 60 cos 45. 60 cos 45, which is 42.4264. 42.4264. I because you are dealing with the x axis, this one, the x component, plus because look at the component of ky is going up. Up is positive. So plus 60 sin 45, which you write the same answer because cos 45 and sin 45 are the same. So 42.4264. This time J at. So this is the component or the representation of the force P and Q in in the uh, in the Cartesian form. So now after we've gotten this, we find the summation of fx. Summation of fx means we are summing the force component of p in the x direction to the x component of q in the x direction. So when we come to p, what is the component of uh, x? The component of x is the one with the I attached. So this is the whole P, the one in square bracket is the whole P force in terms of cardinal form or the Cartesian form. So now, if we want the summation of x, we will sum the x component of force P, which is in this square bracket, to the x component of force Q in this bracket. So if we do that, the x component of P is 37.5877I plus, let me change the color, black is dominating, green, plus the x component of q, which is 42.4264I. If you do this well, 42.4264 plus 37.5877, you get 81.0141. That is the x component. The x component. So you bring your I. Then summation of forces in y. So it will be py. That is the component of the p in the y direction plus the component of the q in the y direction. And the component of p in the y direction is the one underlined with green. And for that of the q, it's also the one I've underlined with green. So now let's add these two. So it will be 13.6808J plus 42.4264 J. So what will we get? What will we get? Okay, so 18.6808 plus 42.4264. What do you get? You get 56.1072 J. So now we've gotten the summation of S and the summation of Y. What do we do with these two? We will now find a resultant from these two. So how do I represent this? So it means I is positive because we have a positive value. That T is a positive value. The positive is going this way. And what is the value? 81.0141. So Cartesian, whenever you are done with the summation of x and summation of y, you draw your final triangle. Then for y, it's also positive, you can see, so it will go up. And how did I say that? Follow up. So here will be 56.1072. Then definitely this will be the resultant because this will close it. It will close it. So now our resultant, this is Pythagoras theorem, right? Because the angle is 90 here. It will be square root of summation of the x squared plus summation of the y squared. So r will be equals to square root of f, summation of fx, which is I have it here, x, this is the x component, this is the y component. So x is 81.041 squared plus 56.1072 squared. So now let's punch whatever is in the square roots. So 81.0141. This one squared plus 56.1072 squared. You get 9711.302. Check this with the answer we had here. 9711.302. Check it with this. Check it. You see they are common. 9 something, right? Yes. Yes, 97. Then our place was 95. So R will be equals to square root of 9711.302. And that is 98.5459 Newton. So this answer and this answer, where is it? They are the same. They are similar. So how do you find the angle between the resultant and the x? This is very simple. This is the angle between the resultant and the x. This here is the angle between the resultant and the x. This is the x. This is the resultant. So what do? We use the tan theta, which is the opposite, which is 6.1072, over adjacent, which is 81.0141. So theta is equal to tan inverse of 56.1072 divided by 81.0141. You get 0.6926. So this implies that theta will be equals to tan inverse of 0.6926. And I'll get the answer straight, which is 34.7065. And this is approximately 35 degrees. So ladies and gentlemen, this is how we go through the Cartesian That is the IJK system or the IJ. IJ is when we are dealing with two forces. It will become IJK when you are dealing with three forces. So put that in mind. So now this is how the end of the question looks like. Very sad. You massacred the question. So now let's look at the next example. Let's look at the next example. So this example will be reviewed or will be solved in our next video. Till then, stay safe. May the Lord bless you. Bye.